Today, we are coming to you from Anusio. Anusio is your personalized career advisor. Essentially, it's a web and mobile-based app that helps you discover what you're truly great at and as an individual, the various lucrative career opportunities that are available to you based on your unique interest and personality. And we don't stop there. We also help you harness these skills and assets through an ecosystem of tools, mentors, and career coaches so that you can attain your best and build a fulfilling career. Our goal is to empower you 24/7 with the confidence to take the driver's seat when it comes to your career. And we also want to level the playing field for all to attain their very best. We believe that your background should not limit your future opportunities. And this mission is very dear to us. And according to Gallup research, as of the year 2020, 850 million people out of 1 billion full-time workers globally reported that they hate their jobs. And so this is one of the ways where, we bring you relevant information through the speaker series like we're having today. And the idea is to show you people who have non-traditional career pathways and how they've created that work life that they desire and how you can do the same too. Whether you're just starting out on that journey or you're looking to pivot, or you're a parent looking to help a teenager navigate this important aspect of life. We also want to make sure that you're not taking the position of as a parent that they are young and they will figure it out. So having said all that, I'd like to introduce our speaker today, Chukwu Nonso Nwanwolo. Did I pronounce that right?
You said that correctly.
Okay, great. So Nonso is a senior business analyst. He has experience in banking, government, software development, and the manufacturing sector. He's one of the founding members of a unique nonprofit called Nobelum, whose mandate is to help support the startup of 100 Black-owned businesses in STEM by 2025. And I can say, Anusho is proud to be among the first cohort of those startups on this journey. Nonso is very passionate about giving back to the community, both locally and internationally, through his annual charity fundraiser. He's concluded the third charity fundraiser and raised enough money to sponsor 10 children and young adults in Kenya, Ghana, and Uganda through their next year of school. I'm really excited to have Nonso here with us today to share. Nonso, maybe I know I already gave an introduction. If you could tell us a bit more about yourself, who is Nonso outside of being a business analyst?
Okay. First of all, I'm going to say thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. At the same time, an honor being invited to this series. I really appreciate it. You've already kind of like done justice in a nutshell of who Nonso is. Simple guy, simple person. Love to hang out with friends, network. Like you said, I love doing charity work when I can, in any way and every way I can help. In any situation I find myself, I try to use whatever resources I have, it be manpower, financial resources, or whatever, to try to uplift people around me. It's something it's a passion that gives me joy. I love cooking sometimes. I'm not a bad cook, I would say that. Occasionally like watching movies, and recreationally I love traveling. It's one of the things I like doing. Going to different cities, visiting several recreational centers, and that's really it about me. And I'm the last grandchild of my family.
Wow.
So dad, mom, and my elder brother. So I'm the second child of two.
That's impressive. That you have so much going on even in your personal life, and that just speaks to who you are. At a high level, can you explain to us, what the life of a business analyst looks like? What does a business analyst do?
Okay, so on a high level, like you said, a business analyst, basically what we do is trying to improve processes for organizations, business processes from point A to point B. So what we'll do is identify the needs that an organization has through their stakeholders, look at the gap between where they are currently and where they want to be, and use systems and develop several solutions to be able to fill in that gap. To do that, you have to do lots of research about the company, about the industry, their business objectives, and then find out whatever individual stakeholder objective is, and try to match it to the overall business objective at the end of the day. It's in a nutshell, is basically trying to improve business processes in an organization through the use of computer systems.
So you studied accounting, and that is not directly related to being a business analyst. Like, so how did you decide to become a business analyst right after completing your studies? Like, even take us through what your educational background is.
Okay, to start off, in my undergrad, I studied back home in Nigeria. I did banking and finance for my undergrad before I moved here to Canada to do a Master's of Management in accounting and finance. Worked a couple of years in the banking industry before I came over here. And, doing accounting, I would really tell you accounting was my favorite subject. But I did it because, one, it was in line with what I'd already started doing, banking and finance, which is what was my real core. And then also, when an African parent tells you, and he's paying your school fees, tells you have to do this subject, you have no choice because you have nowhere else to, get the money from. That's on a lighter note. However, doing the accounting was also beneficial to me. But I knew that, coming out, I didn't intend or want to be an accountant. I still wanted to go within those lines of, banking, and also, carve out a new career for myself of being a business analyst. So while I was in school, I had been doing research about what business analysts do, what they do, and also from my experience back home while I was in banking as well. I already knew kind of like the trajectory of which I wanted to move in, and I decided that when I was going to get here, I was going to move eventually from accounting and transition completely into the business analyst pathway. Now, most of my experience from back home, as much as I had banking experience, also tied with business analyst experience as well. So I decided to fully fledge it out. After completing my master's in accounting. Now, for me to transition from accounting to business analysis, like I said, did lots of research, knew what I wanted to do, did a lot of self-learning and coaching for me to land my first job in Canada as a business analyst.
So you talked about how your career journey as working in banking had some ties to what a business analyst does. Can you maybe, if you don't mind, sharing some more specifics as to what you did in those roles that transferred into being a business analyst?
Okay, so while I was in banking back home, the organization that I worked for was going through a transformational journey, and I was one of the people employed to change the organization. We were seen as part of the change agents. And to do that, we had to do a lot of analysis in the organization, in the different departments, in sales, in loans, in the retail aspect. And a lot of things that I did included analyzing the current state of the organization, the departments which I was in, which is retail, understanding where they are as against where we want to get to. So this was one major part that, one skill that I, got while I was doing that is directly related and tied to a business analysis role. So basically we had to identify the gap and, kind of like meet the gap by understanding where we're where we're trying to go to, and fill up the gap through the use of technology. We developed so many solutions that I was part of, which helped the organization, which included uh, getting a new loan system that would increase revenues for the company. That was a system that was built kind of like from the scratch. We developed a new process. I was part of the business process, documenting things and requirements while doing that development. So those were parts of the skills that I brought over. I did basically almost everything from customer service to lending, retail lending, commercial lending, uh, you know, name it. I didn't do tailoring, but basically, in a nutshell, I worked at the head office, basically trying to understand the structure of the organization, the company, increasing customer satisfaction, a whole lot of things that wasn't really tagged, business analysis. But yeah, it was, still part of it. Yeah. And then while we're undergoing the training, we undergo pass through trainings that had to do with business analysis as well and all that.
For current students, what are some things that you think, just off the top of your head, like that someone might be doing as extracurricular activities that might have some elements of a business analyst kind of mindset or attitude or approach to work? Is there anything that you can think of that maybe a student who's listening can relate to and start thinking, oh, maybe this might be something I might be interested in doing?
So anything that gives you the mindset of an analytical person, if you're one person who likes to analyze and manage projects, no matter the kind of project it is, even if it's an event, just even if you're a student union member or something, you hold an executive position, and then you're social director, for example, you have to organize events, and then you have to manage the event, you have to manage people, you have to interact with different people, your team members at the same time, other students at the same time. Let's say you're hosting an event, vendors, for example, maybe an MC who is going to host an event. You have to manage all these people. So one key aspect of being a BA is that you interact with a lot of people. It's not just systems. For you to put these systems together, you need to gather requirements from people. You need to also get the right people to implement this system for you, because as a BA, you might not be technically savvy, right? What you do is basically gather the requirements and then give the right people to solution out the requirements for the company. So there are a lot of soft skills that you require as a business analyst, which includes communication, properly having conversations with people, managing stakeholders, expectations as well, being able to meet deadlines on projects. So if you're doing anything that falls within this bracket, and saying this from my experience, I feel that you have at least some of the skills that you could tack on to become a business analyst. One thing as well is that you have to be able to document things properly. If you're one person who knows how to document, I know back home in Nigeria, when we're doing projects, they make us write lengthy 200-page documents. If that's something you're good at doing, you're going to be in the right field, because you have to do a lot of documentation for record purposes and also for solution as well, so that people who read the documents can be able to follow the procedure correctly.
So if a student is looking to become a business analyst, what are some ways they can prepare? And so I'm going to make this a two-part question. So in the same vein, if a current working professional is looking to transition into becoming a business analyst, what are some ways that they can prepare to stand out as a candidate for that role?
Okay, so if a student is looking to become a business analyst, say you're an undergrad student, I'll first say, let's say the first thing I'll say, if you can get a course, a university course, like a business analyst course, that's the first thing, right? It will give you the theoretical knowledge and background in 4 walls of a university to be able to learn all the skills, tools, and techniques that you need to be a successful business analyst. However, if you're on a different route like I was, right, you necessarily don't have to change to a course of a business analyst. You could take other certification courses. You could take some, for example, I don't want to mention names, but there's some programs online that you could go that, they teach you how to be a business analyst, let's say a 1 year, 6 months, 16 months program courses, and then some of them are even affiliated with other universities whereby you learn this thing. So it's something you could have your normal undergraduate degree and then take all these programs on the side as well. That is for someone who is already taking a different course route. And in the same vein, someone who is already a working professional in a different career can still take that route, and take courses, certifications, learn online, do a lot of self-studying. You could go online. There are a lot of things, even on YouTube and other learning platforms, that you could find courses that you would use to help brush up your skills. As a business analyst, you have some basic tools and things that you need to know that I'm sure everybody basically already using, like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. If you're good at these things, it's something that's going to help you as a business analyst. So in a nutshell, self-studying, you could take other courses, and you could also do like undergraduate courses or master programs as a business analyst. For one thing, myself, when I was coming to the University of Windsor studying accounting and finance, at that point in time, they didn't have a course. So I did Masters of Management, specializing in accounting and finance. Right now, they have one that is specialized in business analysis. At that point in time, when I was enrolling, if I saw that program, I would definitely have taken it. So that's one of the things that students can do, career professionals can do, and those that are still in school.
What are some day-to-day tools of the trade that people use, like current business analysts are using now, that students or people who are looking to switch careers can start leveraging now? And if you even have the free tools, if you can include those as well, so people can start looking into those tools and getting familiar with them, if you have any examples.
Okay, yeah, so I mentioned some earlier, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. Those are basic tools that you need. Some organizations use Outlook. It's in the Microsoft family. There's this process mapping tool called Visio. It's also in the Microsoft family. What it does, that it helps you map out processes and also even mock-ups. And when I say mock-ups, what a mock-up is basically kind of like a design of how you want a solution to be. It could be a user interface. It could be how you want an invoice to look for a company or a client that you're doing an accounting solution for. I used to use Paint, but that was really, really hard. But I mean, that was because, when I started, and I had liked using Paint growing up. But to be more effective, you need tools like this, mock-ups, screen shot diagrams. For example, Snagit. There's a free model. You also have LucidChat. It's also a good process mapping diagram. Glyphy as well. Glyphy, I believe, they have the free version. These are mostly process mapping diagrams tools, and also mock-up tools. And some of the other tools that we use with this one is now not personal or individual, but company-wide, like project management tools, for some tools that you use in managing the software development lifecycle. And when I say that, it's like when you're building a software, how managing, from the start to finish, assigning tasks to developers and all that. You could want to familiarize yourself with it if the company you're going into, works with that tool, and it's called Jira. There are other tools. It's not just Jira. There's also the free version.
How early do you think strategic career planning should start?
As soon as possible. Um, in fact, from once you can learn to speak, talk, walk, I believe that everyone, taking care of a child should be able to start looking at things that this child is good at. You know, um, watch them. Even if it's playing the piano, playing the guitar, playing saxophone, reading a book. See, they love reading books. Just watch out for the child's interest. Basically, expose the child to a lot of things, and then find out what they have passion for. What they want to do, and because as parents, I believe that parents should be able to guide children into what they want and what they become, and eventually let them choose their path. So I feel it should start as early as possible. Once a child learns to start speaking and all, and then once the training wheel is off, they give them the child the room to be able to make decisions by themselves.
I like how you said they should be exposed to different things, and then that way they can actually figure out what do I like doing, and the parents watching them to see and even help them start noticing some of those things, because sometimes you might have a blind side to what your strengths are. Among professionals, working professionals, it's pretty common to say that having a strong network is very important, like in driving your career journey. And then I recall, backstage as well, we were discussing how students also need to have a strong network. If you'd like to share some thoughts around that and how you think that would impact a student, as an example, having access to a well-connected network or not having access to a well-connected network.
I'm of the school of thought that your network is your net worth. Yeah, aside from what you have on your balance sheet, on your bank account, your network is really your net worth. And I've also been a living example of my network being my network, because I know a lot of benefits that I've gotten as a result of having good people around me. So I feel like as a student, you should start from scratch trying to build the right network, right? The right people around you, the right people that you need to succeed, to help you succeed at what you want to do. Having mentors, to guide you. It's very, very important, because people go into different places and different locations and different industries, and tomorrow you might meet someone who is a friend of yours, that you had in the past, and then it's find themselves in a situation whereby they could help you in terms of your career and stuff like that. So I believe it's very important for you to start grooming yourself to have the right people around you as early as possible, because going down the line, the friends that you have 20 years from now are people that you start meeting from today.
So I think I don't know if you had mentioned it during the conversation, like students tend to get internships, as an example. Like while you're a student, if you have a co-op opportunity, I also believe that like the kind of network you have around you would influence the kind of internship opportunities that you tend to have. And that, if I were a student thinking to become a business analyst and I had an opportunity to do an internship as a business analyst, that would literally set me up to say, by the time I'm done with school, I can apply to a role as a business analyst. And how much of the experience required, because you talked a lot about doing courses, self-study, or trying to learn theoretical things. If I were to apply to a business analyst role, how much of real world experience do I need to already have to be considered for that kind of a role?
So there are several levels of business analysts. You could start as a junior business analyst, like you mentioned. There are internships as to become a business analyst, right out of school. While you're even in school, there are positions that I know even here in Canada, a couple of banks offer internships for business analyst position. And then, once you're done, even if you didn't do business analyst in school, right, when you're out, you could start off as a junior business analyst because based on the skills you already have theoretically or what you studied. And also a lot of other, careers that you have done in past have relatable experience as for business analyst. So you could come even if you did customer service, right? Even if you say there are a lot of things or skills that you would have gotten as a customer service person that you would have and you can present and sell in an interview for an employer that yes, I can do this role of a business analyst as long as you have done your own homework and have prepared yourself to fit into that role. So that experience you had even as a customer service person is going to count. A lot of I can't say enough. A lot of skills that a business analyst needs soft skills. The soft skills, personal relationship with people. Communication skills. Those are very highly important skills that you need as a BA.
So, for a student who doesn't currently have that kind of network, either through family or friends, connections, how can I start to build one? Because when I was a student, I did not have access to this kind of network. So how can you start in undergrad as an example, or maybe in a master's program, or wherever level you're at? If I don't currently have that network, how can I start building it?
If you don't have that network, there's so many social media tools today. For example, LinkedIn, right? Let's say if you want to be, when you surround yourself with 3 millionaires, right? And you're most likely to be the next millionaire, right? So you want to surround yourself with people who are already business analysts. You have LinkedIn, start following people in that career path, in that choice. A lot of people have gotten jobs online through LinkedIn, do courses online, even if like LinkedIn Learning. There are LinkedIn Learning courses that you could take, BA courses, Excel courses, Power BI courses, there are a lot of them I can't, mention. Putting that out on your profile, only takes you closer to what you want to be, who you are. And, when you start inviting people to be friends on LinkedIn, let's say, social platform, you see what you're doing, you see their posts, like them, you start to strike conversations. This is one thing I did a lot, while I was, job hunting. I, look for people in these organizations and try to meet them, chat them up, and know how the organization is, their culture. As much as we're looking for employment, employers are also looking for employees, and it's also very important for you to know the right culture, the right place to. As much as they want you, do you want them? It's a two-way street, so it's very important. Go out for functions, events, professional events, functions where you're going to be meeting, your people of like minds, and be confident to introduce yourself. Strike up a conversation with someone who you think is in the same line or in the same role with you. Tell your friends about what you want. They could link you up with someone else. I'm a testimony to that, right? Most of the roles I've gotten is as a result of people saying, hey, this is here, this is there. We have this role, as a result of the network around me. So social media, word of mouth, those two things for me, and I'm also talking personally from my own experience, things that are very helpful.
Two things amongst all the things you said that just stand out to me is be confident in introducing yourself and telling people what you want and what you're looking to do, because that's the only way they can see opportunities and keep you in mind, when you speak up to say what you want.
Exactly.
To wrap up, I'm going to ask this final question. In what ways do you think parents, guardians, or mentors, or people who have young adults in their care, or how can they help these people prepare well and strategically for the right career path. Because most of the time, if you have, at least growing up, it was always a matter of you figure it out when you get to that point. And then you end up spending years doing something that maybe you didn't really enjoy. So how can you, like parents, adults, help younger people prepare strategically for the right career path?
Okay. I'll still go back to what I said initially, is first of all, knowing where they are, starting from scratch, exposing them to a lot of things, and finding and identifying, what this person likes, what this individual is good at, what this individual wants to become good at or better at. It's good to have something that you're doing that you love doing, than doing something that you don't really love doing, and maybe you're not really great at doing. You find more satisfaction when you're doing something that you love doing. So it's all about trying to identify, what an individual can do. If this individual can draw and wants to be an artist, they should go to artistry school, whatever school they call it. If the person loves to sing and is a musician, let them go become a musician, take them right to the right, school. It's about, really identifying and, watching and seeing what this person is good at, in terms of parents. And mentorship is also good, it's also good to maybe even meet and see a career coach, like one that is interviewing me right now.
That's the end of the session for today. If you have any questions for us or for Nonso that you think we didn't address during the chat, feel free to leave your questions in comments on any of the platform you're watching us from. Or you can also send us an email to hello@anushio.com. We'll be opening up our VIP access to the Anushio app very soon. The VIP access is free, but it will be based on a waitlist. So you would be doing yourself a really great favor by signing up on the waitlist so that you can be one of the first persons to get access to that app. And to do that, you can log on to or visit www.anushio.com/sign up, and that's www.anutio.com/sign up. Follow us on our social media handles, which is at Hello Anushio. That's HELLOANUTIO. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn.
Twitter.
And Twitter.